This
only.
conference
But
will
Okay.
now be recorded.
currently, I'm working as a solution architect. So I have done recently cyber security course from Simpleton, and then I'm working as a disaster recovery. I slightly moved to my career to from VMware to this one. But last 4 years, I have been working as a solution architect for data center migration, VMware, and then disaster recovery. So my requirement is, so I am expecting similar. So since it is advanced training, so I hope I will get a more knowledge on doing solutioning for Nutanix also. Recently, I have completed a NCP MC8 certification 6.5, and then I have attended a Nutanix deployment from Nutanix
Oh, okay.
uh, trainer. Apart from this,
Oh,
so I have knowledge on not tech. I have technical knowledge, but I don't have any hands-on experience. So what I am expecting, so hopefully I will get a more knowledge on supporting solution-based project for Nutanix. That's all.
okay. Okay. Great. Thank you, Bola Subramanian.
Thank you.
Okay. So yeah, we will be able to fulfill your requirement. Okay, so starting now going back to the discussion, currently these are the different versions available in the market. Maybe certification wise, you feel like 6.5 is older and 6.10 may be the latest one. But if you go to the customers, they still have 6.5 because 6.5 is the most reliable version. Then 6.10 is also there. 7.0 is something like last month it got released last 2 months. It is totally new, and very few customers have upgraded their environment to 7.0. Okay, so we can talk about the differences of this in some time later. I wanted to talk about the some of the features, and then I wanted to talk about the environment where we do what and all, like where we have the labs sessions, and are we covering all the modules. Those areas, I'm going to talk about that so that we all will be in the same page. Okay, so now with respect to the lab, Nutanix has something called community edition. You probably know that. It will be like you can directly install that on top of the hardware, or you can also create a VM. In ESXi, you can create a VM and you can set up your lab. Okay. With that, I know the community version may not have, it doesn't have the 7.0 version, and it may have 6.10. I need to double check. So maybe few use cases and feature I'll not be able to cover that, because with respect to AOS 7.0, it has witness VM feature. Witness VM we still have in the other version, but one change with it 7.0, witness VM can be deployed in the ESXi environment. But earlier it was not possible, but now it is possible. We can deploy this in the ESXi environment. But since the 7.0 features are not included in the community edition, I will not be able to show you, demonstrate this lab, but I can demonstrate the DR feature, but without the witness VM. I'll see if how to deploy witness VM. I'll see if I can demonstrate that. But registration of witness VM is not possible because at the version what we have, it doesn't support the 7.0 features, and because of that, I'll not be able to cover this feature. So likewise, we have few features. It may not work. I'll tell you on the floor. I'll tell you what and all covered, what cannot be done. Okay, so this is just something I just wanted to share. And then if you want to set up your own lab, probably you can download this. You have to be a partner. If you have a partner account, then you can create your support portal access, and then you can download all these softwares. Okay, if you need any help in terms of installation, just let me know. You have my contact in the WhatsApp group, so you can write me a message. If you need anything, yeah, I'll be able to help you out. Okay.
Well, you're sharing the screen apart from the Paint, MS Paint.
No, only Paint. I'm still in the Paint.
Okay, okay, got it.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. Since a couple of folks here, express their concern about the basics, I'll quickly touch base on the quick, basic things. Okay. So how many of I'm not asking this question to everyone, but if you know, you can probably keep silent. But maybe others, if you don't know, just let me know here. I don't know. I'll talk. No, I can go ahead and explain. Otherwise, I can skip it so that we can also save some time. So, how many of you are quite good with replication factor and redundancy factor, and cluster deployment, foundation tool, all that? So, foundation tool, blocks, nodes. Okay, I see that there is a big silent, so I hope everyone aware of this.
So also in terms of Nutanix, not aware of. If a replication starts like a VMware side, yes, we are aware of.
Okay, no problem. I'll talk about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So why there is a sudden need for Nutanix. You see that Nutanix is everywhere now, and why there is a sudden requirement of Nutanix solutions, right? So if you talk about that, one reason, if you see, there is a Broadcom acquired Nutanix solutions. So after that, they increased the license cost. So other side, Cisco end of their solutions, which is Hyperflex. Okay, so they stopped selling their solution Hyperflex. So now what Cisco focuses, Cisco sells hardware. For software, they engage with Nutanix. Nutanix sells software. That's an agreement between Nutanix and Cisco. Okay, so if you take some of the competitors, we have already discussed about this detail in the previous trainings. So I'll take what is important here. I'm going to talk about that now. Okay. So if we have some competitors in the market, HP has SimpliVity, Dell has VxRail, Cisco Hyperflex. Okay, then like Microsoft has their own, Azure Stack HCI. Then VMware has their own solution. Okay, if you quickly compare this, in the aspect of hardware and virtualization, HP, they do manufacture hardware, which is HP DL platform, DX platform, but they don't have a hypervisor, right? HP VxRail runs on top of ESXi. So the ESXi, they have to depend on with .com now. If you take Dell has VxRail.
Sorry
Dell
to cut you. Hello, Paul.
Yeah.
Are you writing something because it is not visible? Sorry to. I'm not sure whether it's only for me or others or us.
Can you see my paint screen? No.
Paint screen is we are able to see, but only the table.
Oh, HP, Dell, Cisco, that you can't see?
No,
Yeah,
we're not able to see that. Yeah.
nothing is visible. Yeah.
No?
Yeah. Now
Now I can see. Yeah.
Only
Okay.
the lag
I
or
think
maybe
there
lag.
is delay.
No, there is no delay. Actually, if I open this, go to meetings app in front, then you will be able to see. But if I keep this, I'll not be able to type something. So now I open this in my screen. So I minimize the go to meeting screen. I open the paint screen now. I hope you cannot see anything now, right? Or you still can.
Still we
No,
can see.
no,
Same.
the thing is that we are able to see whatever you do, any kind of a changes, we are not able to see in
Yeah.
the, the
Okay.
modification. We're not able to see it.
So I'm
So
typing something. I'm typing Nutanix. Can you see that now?
no,
No.
Oh,
live
no.
is not. This is live is not visible.
Okay, let me change my laptop. Just give me 2 minutes.
This conference will now be recorded.
Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Okay. So with what is HCI? HCI is a hyper-convergent procedure. Okay. You know what is, there are, like, before HCI, we have something called DAS. Okay. DAS is directly attached to storage. Then we have something called SAN. DAS example, you can take your laptop, or you can take, any server which has locally connected hard disk or SSD. That is a DAS. SAN, you know that the servers don't have any storage. For any storage, it has to connect it to the SAN box, which is totally in the different network. Okay.
That's correct.
DAS actually offers local storage because the storage is very local. SAN offers the shared storage. Okay. I talked about this in detail in the basic training. We have spent almost a day on that area, but here I don't have time, so I'm going to talk about the important thing. Okay, DAS offers local storage. When it is local, you get a good performance, or you can say high performance. Okay, but what is the disadvantage with DAS? Scalability. Okay, expanding the storage is going to be a real problem here, until unless if you don't have enough slot in this server. But with the server, we always have a limited slots for to have the disk, hence that scalability is a problem, right? But if you talk about SAN storage, we can have good with the scalability. Good with the scalability, which means you can connect a number of disk shelf. A disk shelf can contain multiple disks connected. So scalability is uh, good option with the SAN, but problem here with performance is bit low comparatively task. Like, you want to talk to a person who is next to you, you can talk without any medium, so it's going to be a straight communication, right? But if you want to talk to a person who is in a different place, like you can take us, right? I'm talking here, you are there in the different place, but initially you said, right, there are some latency related issues, it is loading slowly, right? These are the difficulties. Likewise, when we want to talk to a different person, we have a mobile. The mobile network has to be in a, you need to dial a person, then the internet or networks has to be in a good speed, so that you will be able to make good communication. So you have a dependency, like network, SIM card, and then the bandwidth, everything is a requirement. Here, a dependency, if you have some problem with that, your communication has a problem. That same like SAN. SAN is in a different network. You are connecting your servers to the SAN storage through the cables, maybe a I2C or FC, and then performance is totally based on the bandwidth and speed and the quality of your configurations and cables, right? There are a lot of key factors here. If you are able to provide a good thing, then you get good performance, but it is not always assured, right? So I cannot say that I always deliver a good training, because sometimes I do have a problem, like internet issue, my laptop issue, anything come, right? We may, here and there, we may have some difficulties. Likewise, in the SAN environment, here and there, you may have some performance related issues because of the various key factor. But when you take a DAS offers good performance because it is totally connected to the
Yeah,
local,
Paul, I think we can go a little fast on this, but I think these are all I think everybody is aware about, so that can
right?
save your time. Yeah.
Okay. So next is HCI. So what advantage we get? DAS plus SAN. So that's our advantage with HCI. So what DAS offers? It offers local storage. Okay. What SAN offers, which offers shared storage. Okay, so you are sharing the storage with the multiple servers in a from same single sandbox. You are sharing the storage with multiple servers. So those are the two good things with DAS and SAN. When you take HCI, you get benefits of local storage and shared storage. Okay, this is why many people are going towards the HCI, and then a lot of different reason as well. But I'll skip those areas. Okay. So HCI is nothing but it's a storage technology. It takes the local storage and then convert the storage into the distributed storage fabric. Distributed is kind of a shared storage. Okay. So when you mix this, what you get? You get DSF, distributed storage fabric, or you can say in NUTANIX we say AOS storage, or you can say just distributed storage. Okay, So how to build this distributed storage? What I need, you need a hardware. Then the hardware needs to have a local storage, and then you need something important, which is the intelligent software. This is really required. This intelligent software, what it does, it takes the local storage and then convert the local storage into the distributed storage. Okay. I repeat again, you have the local storage, take the local storage using this software, the HCI vendor, they convert that into the distributed storage. So your storage is distributed. Okay. That's the
So
role
this
of
will
this
be taken care
intelligent
by the
software.
EOS, right? This the
Sorry?
software. EOS
Yeah,
will take care.
this name of this software is AOS from
of-
NUTANIX. Likewise, each and every company, they have a different name, but in NUTANIX, we have
of-
AOS. So
It's
you
clear.
need to pay for this software. So you are
Yeah.
not paying for, the hypervisor I said, but you have to pay for the hardware, because hardware, you have a freedom, you can buy from any hardware. But if you decided to use the NUTANIX, then you have to pay for the AOS.
So even shared network will be also taken care by the EOS only.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Okay.
Like in ESXi, you are not going to deploy the
Like
V
distributed
switches. V
switch.
switches by default created, but distributed switch something you will be creating, configuring. Likewise, the basic network, what is required for your cluster to run,
Yeah.
that gets created by automatically. Okay,
Okay.
so
Yeah.
if you are in the basic, I'll stick with that. But since we are in the advanced training, we are always not going with the basic
Yeah,
one or
yeah,
default
this
one.
kind of recap is enough for us. Okay. This kind of
Yeah,
recap.
yeah. Okay, so when it comes to networking as well, we are not going with the default one. So every default setting has to be overwritten with this customization, so that we are going to see. Okay, now with this, the HCI AOS Acropolis has, Acropolis OS. Using this, we create something called CVM.
Yeah.
So everything we are going to do on top of CVM. So this advanced training is all about CVM related stuff. Okay.
Okay.
So now, quickly, if I have 3-node cluster, how many CVMs I have?
3.
How many of you agree with that?
3. Yes, agree.
Agree.
Yeah, right.
Agree.
So every node or every server. So node, server, host is quite a bit confusing term, but there's a small difference with that. Okay. We have already discussed about in the basics. So you can go back
Yeah,
and
just
watch the
quick question.
videos.
When this
Sorry?
CRM will be created during the deployment, something?
Yeah, doing the deployment. Without
Okay.
CVM, nothing. Okay, so as I said, right, if you take the ESXi, it can be deployed in the regular host, but
Yeah.
this one, AHV will not work on the regular host. It is only a HCI hypervisor. Okay, the reason it has a dependency with CVM, but now currently Nutanix is making this opportunity, like Broadcom acquired Nutanix, Broadcom acquired VMware, and license cost increased. Nutanix is making this opportunity to migrate all the customers from VMware to Nutanix HCI. But some customer, they say that I don't want to migrate to HCI. No, you are giving a free hypervisor, but it doesn't mean that I need to migrate from one technology to other technology, because their servers are connected to SAN. But now replacing the SAN is something like they don't think about it. They still wanted to continue with the SAN environment. So they ask some question, hey, do you have a hypervisor which can work on the SAN storage as well? So answer at this period, no. But Nutanix is currently working on qualification of this AHV hypervisor to work on individual hosts as well as the SAN environment. So currently, they are working with the Dell, hardwares, Dell storage. So we soon we are going to get this released. So your Nutanix AHV also works with the SAN storage, but initially it is going to be only Dell storage, but it also get expanded to the other storage. Okay.
So Paul, so in question here, so the scalability again is problem for that in the NUTANIX, right?
What problem?
Scalability, right? Expanding the storage, right? Again,
Oh,
it
you're
will be
talking
problem
about
for
scalability. Okay.
yes.
See, if a person is driving a motorcycle, if you go and ask him, if you go to car, you get all these benefits. But it doesn't mean that he immediately migrate from car to bike. There are various key factors. One is traffic from where he is traveling. So if he is going for shorter distance with congested road, he doesn't prefer the car. Second thing, cost matters, right? So bike, two-wheeler he can buy within 1 lakh rupees, but if he has to go for the car, he has to spend more money. So likewise, if you want to shift from SAN to HCA, there are a lot of key factor involved. So some customer, they 1 second.
Yes, man. Yeah.
See, go mute.
Okay. Some customers, they say that, they still wanted to go with the SAN environment because I have already paid for it and I'm still having the license with, SAN storage. So I want to continue with that. Okay. And HCI is new technology. Like I said, right, car is a car, bus, train, everything is new. It keeps bringing new thing, right? But it doesn't mean that when new thing comes, every people will be migrated to that. It doesn't that, right? So whoever needed or whoever for whoever it suits, they go for it. Likewise, it is not a replacement of a complete SAN solution. So if you go to some customers still has SAN environment, still has a DAS solution, and still have a HCA solution. Okay, a lot of new customers, if they want to set up a new data center with a simple solution, they probably think about Nutanix. But existing customers, they already have who has DAS and SAN, they also use HCI. So HCI is not a complete replacement of any solution, but comparison wise, it has certain benefits, and because of that, HCI is going high. Does it make
Paul,
sense?
your voice is breaking. I'm not sure if it's happening only for me or even for others.
No, voice is okay.
No, it's okay.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
So, in the moment,
Okay.
is that SAN is not supporting that NUTANIX.
Yeah, at this moment, SAN is not
Yeah.
supported with Nutanix AHV hypervisor. Okay, but we
And this is
do have the
similar kind of vSAN kind of
yes,
there's a
exactly.
okay. Okay.
It's a vSAN
Then
solution. So in
yeah,
VMware we have
that's
vSAN. Likewise here we have HCI. Okay. Now going back to this CVM. So we have a CVM gets created in every node. Okay. So CVM is here, CVM is here, CVM is here. So this is a node, and every node has local storage. I said right. Every node has local storage. It can be a single disk or multiple disk. But when it comes to production, single disk is not the recommended one. Okay. So this is server 1, this is server 2, and this is server 3. So I said this is a CVM. Okay, so we have totally 3 different CVM. So what is the role of CVM here? The CVM, regular virtualization. So I see that people are coming from VMware background. So in VMware, your SAN is connected to the ESXi host. So VM is sending IO request to the hypervisor. So hypervisor has a connected, hypervisor has a privilege to talk to your storage and get the storage related actions done. Like for an example, you're reading a data, you're writing a data, your VM is sending the request to the hypervisor, then hypervisor sends the request to the SAN storage. But in HCI, VM sending the IO request to the hypervisor tells, hey, I don't have any privilege to talk to the storage. Here, there is a special person called CVM. He takes the entire control from me. So I can only allocate CPU and memory, but when it comes to storage, I don't have any privilege to control the storage. Everything is controlled by CVM. So without CVM, you will not be able to read or write the data. So now I said, right, we have collection of disks here. The CVM is connected to the storage directly. There is a terminology called PCI pass-through. In VMware, we have something called VM direct path. Okay. In Hyperflex as well, we have, in Microsoft Hyper-V as well, we have this. Okay. Using this,
So in IOPS to the VM first goes to CM, then it goes to the VM. Right?
sorry.
See, if any IOPS to the VM on that host, first it reach out the CVM, then it goes to the respective VM. Something like that. It is.
No, not like that. See, if let's take it, you are coming from the perspective of internet. Like I'm going to download some file from the internet. So the download first goes to CVM, then from CVM it comes to VMware. That was your question, right?
Yeah.
No. Download is totally. I'm talking from the storage perspective. Like you are downloading a file from the internet. The file downloads to your VM. When it goes to your hard disk, if you save the file, correct?
Yeah.
Otherwise, it stays in the memory, and when you close that from the memory, it gets vanished. When you save it, it goes to the hard disk. That's where when you save it. Just for an example, I open an Excel sheet. I'm making some changes. I'm saving the file. Now that is a write request that goes to my hypervisor. Then hypervisor redirect that request to the CVM, because he said that for VM, hypervisor is always point of contact. He always think that, okay, like in ESXi regular virtualization, I forward the request to hypervisor. Likewise, I do it here. So I'm a VM, I'm sending the request to hypervisor. Then internally, hypervisor forward this request to the CVM. Okay, so let's take, you have a VM here. This is your VM. The VM, as usual, it's sending the IO request. I'm saving an Excel sheet. That is a write request that comes to from VMware. It goes to the from VM. It goes to the hypervisor. Then hypervisor sends this request to the CVM, because in VMware it directly goes to the SAN network or any storage. But here hypervisor cannot do the role. It has to forward the request to CVM. Then CVM has a direct connectivity to the PCI, local storage using PCI pass-through. Okay, so CVM directly writes the data to the storage.
Okay.
In case you want to read the data, same, you have to, the VM sends the read request to the hypervisor. Hypervisor sends this request to the CVM, and then CVM, it goes to the local storage.
Suppose
Make
if
sense?
I am sending some data between the VMs, VM A and VM B, so data I'm sending from the VM A to VM B, then it first it goes to the hypervisor, then CVM, and then next to the other VM. That way.
See, how are you going to transfer the file? So VM to VM communication, how do you make these transfer? Like if you take the ISCSI, it is going to be your point of contact is going to be VM to VM. So you're sending
Yeah.
a file from VM to VM on the VM management IP. You have a VM IP, using the VM IP, you're sending the data. But again, at the same point, when you write the data, it goes to this local storage.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so this is something important here, this architecture. So every VM sends a request to the hypervisors, and hypervisor it goes to the CVM, and then CVM is connected to the storage using PCI pass-through. Okay, for an example, we will talk about that later regarding the migration stuff. Any question on this area? So I know I made it very short and fast, but these all are basic things we talked about this. We have spent enough time on the basics training. So
Yeah,
this is where
yeah, Paul.
I'm
So
talking what is important.
if a 4 node, then again required CVM. Yeah, just tell the
Every
listen
node
the.
CVM, every node it requires CVM.
So if you okay, so if you 50 nodes, then 15 CVM will be installing.
Yes, exactly. It is equal to number of nodes you own.
Mhm.
Okay. If I have 100 nodes, I will be having 100 CVMs. Every node will have CVM. Without CVM, I said, for an example, consider here, let's talk about this. This CVM is down. What happens? Any clue? What happens if this CVM goes down? Maybe who attended my last training, you can probably
Then
skip this question. Maybe I'll leave it to remaining folks.
it will redirect the other.
I think
Yeah,
I
it
am to
will
that.
connect with other nodes CVM.
It is connecting to the
Other nodes CVM.
Bhubadi, I don't want you to answer.
So
Okay.
all the CVMs are in sync, right? In that case, then.
All the CVMs are in sync. Yes, this is cluster. So when you have cluster, you get a distributed storage. A storage is getting distributed. So let's take an example. I have 10 suites with me. Likewise, my friend has 10 suites with him. So we are going to distribute. Who has to distribute? I have to distribute. Then he has to distribute. Whatever I have, I need to distribute. Likewise, whatever he has, he needs to distribute. Likewise, here this CVM is going to distribute the storage. So every node have CVM. The CVM is connected to local storage. So now this CVM owns all the local storage. So it has to distribute the storage. So likewise, every CVM distributes its own local storage. Altogether, it is a distributed storage. Okay, if this CVM goes down, this distribution stops. Hence, nobody can talk to or nobody can access this storage because the point of contact is CVM. Now CVM is no more, so nobody can access the storage of node 1. Make sense?
Then what is so then somebody said it cannot redirect from the other CVM, or so it will be completely down, right? With communication in that node, if CM goes down.
So let's take same example here. I have 3 node cluster. Every node I have a CVM running. Okay, so let's take my VM is running here. This is my VM. Okay, and I have a storage here. Okay, this is my storage. This is my CVM, and this is my VM, and this is my AHV hypervisor, or it can be any hypervisor, ES6 or Microsoft Hyper-V. So a VM is sending the request to AHV hypervisor, then it goes to CVM, then it talks to the storage directly. Likewise, the return traffic also comes this way.
Okay.
So in case if my local CVM goes down, this VM sends the request to the AHV. AHV try to reach the CVM, but CVM is unavailable. So this communication drops. Okay, I need to talk about this in this target session. Okay, so we have the, I think next to next module, we have something called Stargate. There I need to talk about this. Hence I'm stopping here. I'll talk what is required now to understand the flow. Okay, but we will do this, traffic, how this is going to work, or how the traffic is getting redirected, all that we will be seeing in the third module of this training. But I
Okay.
quickly tell the changes what happens. So now the local CVM is down, hence immediately this AHV host redirect this request to one of the active CVM. Okay, request wise it goes to the remote CVM, but the data for this VM, the data is here. Correct? I
Yes.
said, right, VM is running here, the data is here. IO request forwarded to this CVM. But what about data? Now anybody can answer.
It
What
will
about
pull the data back to the local.
how?
Data, I think it will be
See,
replicated to the all the host, all the storage, distributed storage, so that it can
Security
pick from
storage,
this.
right?
go with one by one. Somebody
Yes.
said it will be pulled. I say the answer now. Pulling is not possible. How? I'll tell you now. Okay, so as in I own no, I said, right, I own 10 suites with me. So now I have some emergency. I just left the place. So do you think you can pull it from me since I'm already unavailable in the place, right? I'm the point of contact. I own the suites with me, but I'm now unavailable. You don't know where I am. Do you think you can pull the suites from me? No, right? Likewise,
No.
here the CVM is disappeared. CVM is down. CVM is the point of contact for all the storage from this local server. If this guy is inaccessible, then you cannot
Yeah.
access the storage. So pulling the data is not possible. So that's clear, right? So now next
No, there is
person.
a table, right? So MAC table. So based on that, I think since the data is replicated either on RF2 or RF3, based on the table, hypervisor will take a decision or CVM, right?
Who is this? Sorry, I missed the name. Who is this? Ajay? Ajay, you or somebody else? Sorry, voice is
Am I
breaking. Okay. No, it is 90% correct, but don't bring the MAC table here, okay? We have something called a replication factor. There is something called RF. There are two RF. One is redundancy factor, another one is replication factor. So the replication factor, for an example, I'm writing some data here. Let's take an example. This is my data. It gets stored here. System immediately replicate this data to the one of the remote node. So my data is available in two different nodes. Since I have 3-node cluster, I can maximum configure RF.
Oh,
I can
okay.
have only RF
2.
2. If I have 5 nodes or maximum, I can go with RF
3.
3. Okay. So RF3, RF2 is here. Let me increase the font.
So Paul, there is a rule for the config and RF, right? Depend on the node.
See, minimum production 3-node cluster is mandatory. Okay. 3-node cluster is mandatory for the production setup. Let me increase the font.
But for robo
Okay.
offices, Paul, we can have even
Yeah, I'm
2
coming.
node, right?
I'm coming. So 3-node, I said production. Okay. So production, primary data center, minimum 3 nodes. If you have 3 nodes, you can have RF2. Okay. If you go with the 5 nodes or more, 5 nodes or more supports both RF2 and RF3, but that's something you can decide. But if you need a RF3, minimum nodes are 5 nodes. Okay. But single node cluster, 2-node cluster, is that something I can do it? Yes, you can do that. Single node cluster and 2-node cluster. Okay. Okay. So let's take single node cluster. It is single node cluster in the sense it is just one node, one CVM. Okay. And then we also have 2-node cluster. Okay, 2 nodes and 2 CVMs. Okay. And then we have 3-node cluster or more. Okay. So it depends upon the availability. So here you can have RF factor 2, but it works on the basis of disk. Here as well say RF2 node and disk, but here RF2 is between servers or nodes. Okay, this is recommended for robo. This is also recommended for robo, but this is for the primary. Robo is remote office and branch office. Like if you go to the passport office has major offices in metro cities, but they do have open a passport office in the all the districts now. So those districts, like capital of the district, we have very limited, uh, people, limited employees, and very limited folks are applying for the passport. But if you go to metro cities, you can see huge crowd. But since it is open in the every district, they also need to deploy the servers locally. Why? The AD authentication need to happen quickly, so they do deploy read-only domain controller. Likewise, DNS, they do deploy the DNS. So they wanted to run some limited workloads on the remote office and branch office. Hence, they need small environment to be set it up, right? So I don't need to talk about these basic things since you all know that. Okay, but still I'm giving this. Okay, those things, so you can take the single node cluster and 2 node cluster, but for the primary requirement, 3 node cluster is the best and recommended one. Okay, so any question here? No, right? So I'll go back to the discussion here. So now if I have a 3 node cluster, okay, so now I have 3 node clusters. So what is my RF factor here?
2.
What is my RF factor?
2.
2. 2 means 2 copies of data, any data. So I'm writing some data here. For an example, I'm storing a data here. Okay. So this data is replicated to the other node. The picking up other node is a random thing. We don't have an option to choose where I need to replicate. That's something internally NUTANIX takes care of that. So replication, it can be here or it can be here. Choosing the node, choosing the disk is totally automatic. Since I have replication factor 2, I can only have 2 copies. Let's take another example here. There is another VM running here. That VM, sorry, can you go on mute? Okay. So I have a VM running here. If the VM stores data here, it maybe another copy gets to replicated here. So now going to the failure scenario, if this CVM goes down, okay, if this CVM goes down, so my CVM is sending the request to this hypervisor. This hypervisor tells, okay, this hypervisor tells, my local CVM is down, so let me forward this request to the other CVM. So this CVM already owns the data. So this is my data and my data is already here. So now till this CVM comes back online, all the communication is going to be remote. It is not a local communication. Another good thing is NUTANIX HCI always maintains data local, which means all communication will happen locally so that it can offer you the good performance. So if VM runs here, all those VM's data stores locally, only the replicated copy goes to the remover. In case if the local CVM goes down, the local storage is inaccessible. Only the storage is inaccessible. The AHV still runs. It's a hypervisor. Only the storage is inaccessible. Okay. So VM is sending request to the remote CVM. This is going to be the remote communication. It works like the SAN. We have a SAN in a different network. VMs are getting connected to the SAN environment, right? Likewise here. So we have a data in the
What if
different server.
what if
Right?
entire node goes down?
What if node goes down? You can think. You can put in like in VMware. What happens if a node goes down?
Yeah, servers will restart on the other host.
Right. Same. If this server goes down, your CVM will be in the powered off state because CVM is pinned to the server. It doesn't get migrated, but VMs as per HA VM gets migrated. But we have already have an application factor too. So copy there is a remote copy. So if this node goes down, you lose this data, you lose this CVM, but VMs are getting migrated here. So the storage is already here. The data is already here. So it start accessing the data.
Okay. Yeah.
Make sense?
Sounds good. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Any
that
question?
migration will be taken care by the which process? Because
Who
EOS,
takes care of
CV
migration in VMware?
high, it's a
BRF.
vCenter, no? The vCenter it takes care.
BRF.
vCenter only configure the HA, but
Yeah.
migration is done by
DRS is there.
HA agent. The agent is running in the each and every host that takes care of the
Mm. Migration.
migration.
Yeah.
Likewise, we configure the migration, we configure the HA from the CVM. To configure the HA, you need a vCenter. Likewise, to configure the HA, here you need the CVM because CVM is providing the console. I'll come to that point. Somehow you need a portal where you have to go and enable, right? There you enable it, but the configurations are pushed into the hypervisor. When the hypervisor goes down, the HA triggered, so VMs are getting migrated. Okay.
Yeah.
Make sense? This
Yes,
is where
yes.
I need to talk about couple of services. How there is in VMware we have a HA agent, so every agent talks to each other. If the the what is that heartbeat signal stops, then and the other HA come to know that, then it immediately triggers the migration, right? But likewise here, what is the service? There are a lot of services here, so we will see that in the next session. Since you need to understand this basic things, so I'm stopping here. We will talk about all these services later, maybe tomorrow or day next week. But here, any question?
Uh,
How
Paul,
many of you
since we
think
are
that yeah, who is that?
no, yeah, Vimal here. Since we are not able to choose that who is going to, I'm going to replicate the data, but I can able to see that to whom I am replicating the data at least.
No, no, no.
No,
Totally.
completely.
Don't compare this with VMware. VMware, you have a lot of flexibility, lot of features, feasibility to access anything. Like you have a VM, you can go to container. You can see all the VM related files, right? If you choose, there are for every VM you have a folders created in the data store. By clicking the data store, you can see all the files related to the VM. If VM has a snapshot, you can see the delta disk. If a VM has a configuration, you can see the configuration data like .vmx
Mm,
file, right? Likewise, here you cannot see anything. It is
okay.
totally hidden because Nutanix manage everything automatically. There are a lot of services at the back end who takes care of this. Do I need to enable DRS? In VMware, we enable DRS. Here we say ADS, Acropolis Dynamic Scheduler. We don't need to enable that. That's default enabled. Do I need to enable HA? Not really. Even if you don't enable HA, HA works. How it works? What is the difference? Then why do we have an option to enable HA? That we will see later if time permits. Otherwise, you can go back and watch the videos. What we know in the basic, I have already covered this. Okay,
Yeah,
but
Paul, can you hear me?
ultra, yeah. Who is this?
Actually, when I attend the Nutanix training, so we cannot ask directly whether it will support VMware, it will support Nutanix. So some features they will not tell us properly. So in this training, so we can find out whether it is really supported by VMware or Nutanix. So we can utilize this, right?
So can you give me one example? What you are trying to ask?
HCDR, you told right, VMware is
Yeah.
user friendly. So, but Nutanix is not like that. So some of the features are
No, I
hidden.
don't say user friendly. In VMware, everything is a manual thing. So if you ask me which is user friendly, I say Nutanix. Like in VMware, if you want to configure HA, HA is quite easy, but it has a lot of different options like admission control, a lot of different things you need to configure, right? But here it's not the case. It's very simple, easy. I said right. Even HA is not really need to be enabled. Even if you
But
don't enable, it
VMware we have a
works.
lot of advanced features. When you are configuring HADRS, we have DRS tool and in HA also
See,
we can
in
use.
VMware, you may need those features because VMware can run on regular environment as well as HCI. So,
Mm, okay. Yeah, you can. So if there is anything, I will let you know.
Paul,
Paul has issues. Okay.
Yes,
yeah,
of
yeah,
course.
yeah. I need to rejoin.
Yes, of course. We need to read that. We will wait for some time.
Join.
I'll try my okay.
Oh,
Yeah, Paul, we can hear.
okay. Sorry. Suddenly the power shut on and everything else goes down. Okay.
No.
Sorry. Siva, yeah, who
Paul,
is prominent, right? You're
no,
asking me.
yeah, Paul Vimal, yeah, the reason behind I ask, right? So, for example, you are referring the same kind of a scenario, right? One CVMs goes down, then it will be, since it is having a replication data in other VM, I mean other thing node, so we don't want to, I mean, the loss of data won't be there. The communication will be remote. But in this case, I don't know, right? Okay, which node it is been I mean the traffic is going on to the bit remote node, right? So that's why I asked that. Okay, until unless that, I mean, the other person also asked, right? So if there is a two node is goes down, that VM will goes down, right? So that's why I asked that. Okay, until unless other node goes down, then I don't know the VM will be impacted or not, right?
Okay, so you are trying to compare this with the regular virtualization, but I still keep saying that, but don't, yeah, obviously you have to compare that so that you get some clarity how it works. But no, it doesn't work in that way. Let me quickly put this into a different example. Uh, okay, so let's take, so 3 node cluster, same, I'm putting an example. Consider my VM is running here. uh, you know, so we have a data here, one copy, the other copy is here. So now if this node goes down, what happen?
The replication there that will take the remote traffic.
So now which service which service runs here? HA, correct?
Correct.
Storage wise, nothing required because storage is already replicated. So HA, a VM is migrated maybe here or here. Let's take it is migrated here. So now the data is here. With this RF2, okay, with the RF2,
Sorry to interrupt. IF2 means two copies, means one
yeah,
original and there will be only one copy, right?
no, 2 copies.
Two copies means there will be one original copy plus
Two
one extra copy.
copies, you can tolerate one failure.
Means in two separate nodes, IF2 will be written, right?
That is a redundancy factor.
One local copy and then remote copy. That is our.
So this RF2 I'm talking is replication. The other RF2 I'm talking is redundancy. Redundancy. There is a difference between replication and redundancy factor. Okay, probably you can, I cannot cover each and everything, but I'm giving you the names here. Probably please refer the document, or you can watch my basic training where we had a long discussion on this. So forgot about redundancy factor. Now I'm talking about replication factor. Replication factor supports 2, which means you can have 2 copies of data. So 2 copies in the sense one copy will be on the local where the VM is running. The other copy will be created on the remote node. Okay, so let's take an example. This VM is I'm downloading a uh, uh, for an example, I'm downloading an image from the internet that comes here. The image is actually splitted into bits and pieces because if it is having a 500 MB of size, the 500 MB is not written into the single file, right? So I mean the communication will be bits and pieces. So it comes to the server, it writes locally. So same data is also replicated here. Then the acknowledgement will be provided for this, so that a complete write, the write is complete. Likewise, every data it writes local and send it to the remote node. When both local and remote write is complete, then the acknowledgement will be provided. This is how the system maintains both local and remote copy. In case if this goes down, my VM HA triggers my VM migrated to here. I have already one data. And I said that with this approach, I can only tolerate single failure. I can only tolerate single failure. Okay. So now already one failure is gone. If I have another failure, there is a possibility my cluster can go into the read-only state. Okay, let's take another scenario here to talk about or explain this in more detail. Let's take a scenario here. I have a VM running here. I have another VM running here. Okay, so this VM writes the data here because this VM is running on this node, so it always writes one local data. And for remote, it takes the server 1. So now this server goes down. What happens? This data is lost, but it doesn't make any sense because I mean it is okay because the VM is running here. It is already having a one local copy. So now here with this data nothing changed, but in terms of VM, HC triggers the VM is migrated here. After a period of time, I'm losing this node as well. So now this copy and this copy is lost. So two nodes, it takes the same data away. But this data, one copy is here, another copy is here. So this VM can access this data because it is in the another node and that node is fully available. But this VM already lost the remote data and also lost the local data. Make sense? So for this VM, the storage is completely unavailable. Hence, it goes into the down. But this VM, whatever data is here, that can read it, but it cannot write any data. It goes into the read-only state.
So redundancy factor is 1 here.
Redundancy factor condition to have the replication factor, you require minimum 3 nodes, but it can also tolerate one node failure. So one node failure it is acceptable. But if you go with 2 node failure, which is totally against this policy, hence the system cannot help you out with
Yeah,
the
understood. So
full
redundancy,
availability.
only one node can go down. Okay, that's a
Yeah, right.
redundancy.
I mean,
Yeah.
it is not a complete down. Whatever data available in the remaining server, right, that is accessible, but it is only for the read purpose. You cannot write anything. But whatever data is inaccessible, those VMs will be affected. You get an error that storage is inaccessible.
Yeah, yeah.
Make sense?
Yes, yes. RF is 2, but tolerance is 1 here.
Yeah, right. Okay, so going back to Bala Subramanian, you asked me something, right? Can you tell me
I'm
again?
regarding with compared to VMware and Nutanix. In VMware, we have advanced settings for Linux VM, Windows VM, SAP, Oracles. So we can do a lot of fine tuning to improve the performance and scalability. It's okay. Everything is in our control. Like this in Nutanix, do we have these options? That is what I told. It's a user friendly. Nothing.
Okay, so there I said, right, I still keep saying the same point again. I'm still saying that VMware is ESXi is not specially designed for HCI. It is a regular hypervisor, but then later they extended the service to the HCI by making this vSAN software pieces added into the the hypervisor. So it is a generic hypervisor which suits for both legacy 3-tier model as well as the HCI. So if you take it for HCI, you need to make some changes. If you take it for vSAN, you have to make some changes, tuning. But AHV is completely designed for HCI. Hence, it is a single platform. Hence, it works in a way, I mean, you don't need to do any manual effort much. Let's talk about the scenario. You have the databases. HCI is totally suitable for HCI. HCI is totally suitable for VDI, databases, Splunk, artificial intelligence, and then file services. So I repeat again. I'm saying this. This is not a complete replacement of SAN environment, but it is highly suitable for VDI databases because it offers the
I think we should not compare with the VMware. I think we have to take
maximum
it separate
performance
case.
than what you get it with the SAN environment. Right,
Paul, I have
correct.
one question.
And coming to the tuning and
I have
optimization.
see.
Yeah.
Okay,
No, let me complete this and
okay.
I'll come back to you. So he's waiting for this long time. Okay. So with respect to the optimization, okay, still it works very well. I'm saying that it works very well, but still it offers a lot of tuning. We have, if you have a hybrid model server, we have something called, a flash mode. That's something available. Pinning license wise, if you go with the databases, we are not going to buy licenses for all the nodes. We buy licenses for only few nodes. Then we have to enable node affinity rules. So then VMware, we say pinning the server or pinning a VM to the server, right? Likewise here we can do it. Likewise, probably I'll here, when we go on the flow, I'll say how it works in the VMware and then how it works here. But in very simple, you don't need a lot of customization here. Everything works as it is. It is already qualified for, databases, Exchange server, Active Directory, artificial intelligence, and then, VDI workloads.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. But I understand the question from where you are trying to say. So from the pre-sales perspective and as well as the customer point, you are trying to see the
Actually, I
differences.
prepared a comparison sheet to influence Nutanix and also VMware. Sometimes we were lacking on creating the comparison sheet for Nutanix and VMware.
Yeah. So
That's it.
comparison wise,
Yeah.
still there are a lot of debates. If you go and ask a VMware guy, they come and say that VMware is better
Correct.
than Nutanix. But if you ask Nutanix says no comparison. Yeah. I'll tell you the key factor here because performance is not always predictable. See, it matters what model of hardware you have, what model of SSD you have, what model of server firmware you have, what version of SSD firmware, storage controller firmware, what version of AOS, AHV, what VM you have it, what is the resource, what is it all flash, it is a NVMe, then do you have how much memory you allocated to CVM, then do you have op log, what is the size of op log? We are going to discuss all that op log, then
Yeah, actually, when we are doing comparison, we have to start from the hardware, software, monitoring, life cycle, and everything, right? So that is what we sometimes we will not be able to provide required informations to customer to influence certain technology. So that is what.
yeah. So comparison wise, probably after this training, you'll be able
Yeah,
to
no,
get
correct.
more
Yeah,
understanding,
after
but
this
you can still
training,
ask.
I will be able to
Yeah,
get. Yeah,
yeah. So comparison always in a two way. One is feature wise, then otherwise usability wise, then performance wise, right? Uh, features wise, cost wise, no, we talk a lot in the basic, spend totally on this. Performance is something like it's always debatable. No, if a day is good for us, we are good with the performance. If a day is good with VMware, they are good. But we are meeting that no standard. Our performance is totally standard because I said right initially I started from the testing background. We were doing the performance testing. There is a tool called X-ray. So when you have a customer POC, you can go and run the X-ray tool to do the performance measurement like long shot, IO shot, long shot, and then random data, sequential data, random write, read write, sequential write, sequential read. Right, we have different categories to calculate the performance. Probably you can explore the X-ray tool that can help you work with the performance side.
benchmarking tool. Is it correct?
Yeah, benchmarking, right.
Okay,
Earlier we were
thank
using IO tool,
you.
but then Nutanix itself developed their own tool, which is totally free in the market, but it
Okay,
works only with the VMware side. Sorry, only with the Nutanix side. You can
okay.
explore that.
What is the X-ray?
Oh,
The tool name is.
X-ray,
Okay,
X-ray, RAY.
okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Going back to Pramod, I think we are already 7 o'clock.
Ye- Yeah, yeah.
And
So my
okay,
question is just okay. So first one, you have a VM and it goes down, and that's data is returned to middle one. Okay, and that VM is suppose is a HA trigger to migrate to is a last node. But how about the data accessibility? But data is written
okay,
in middle
so
one.
okay. So when you do the live migration, okay, so the condition is when you do the live migration, data follows the VM. Okay, live migration is something planned maintenance, planned migration, right? We manually go and trigger the migration. So let's take this scenario. This is our last discussion. Then we will wind up for today. So let's take this is the condition here. I have a couple of VMs here. Okay, I'm doing a live migration. So when I do live migration, this complete this VMs owns this data. Okay, likewise this VMs owns this data. So if I do live migration, probably I'm migrating this. I selected this VM, I'm migrating this VM, then this full stack will be migrated. When a VM goes, the data also follows the VM. In VMware, we have VM migration, then storage migration, and then full migration.
Yep.
Right? Probably Sivaram, to answer your, so this is something I can add to your point. We have a complete vMotion, storage vMotion, and we can just only migrate a VM. When you just migrate a VM, you need a CPU and memory, right? When you migrate just a VM, this host will offer the CPU and memory, but in a SAN environment, the storage is still in the same place. But here, when you migrate a VM migrates and then storage also migrates. So condition is data follows the VM. This is for live.
The
But
concern is, so when you migrate the VM from node 1 to node 2, okay, now for the VM, it is data is saved on the node 1 local disk. It's a local storage for it now, right? So when you migrate to the node 2, it will access the data from the local storage, or it is still from the node 2, or it will access the data from node 1 remotely.
okay, so this is these are the primary two conditions: data local,
Yeah.
data follows VM during migration.
Yeah.
Let's take an example. A VM has 200 GB of data.
Yeah.
This VM has 200 GB of data. I'm migrating a VM. Do you think
Yeah.
within fraction of second 200 GB of data will be migrated?
No, we are not talking about the only compute migration, like only the VM compute not with. Suppose I just want to do some maintenance activity on node 1, so I just want to migrate the VMs to the node 2. So this node, I mean VMs on node 1 have their local data on the local storage, okay, and also replication on the other node. So when I migrate to the node 2, it has its data in node 2 also. But still, in case of node 1 is still up and running. So will it try to access data from the node 1, or it will try to access from the local storage from node 2?
Okay. See, his question is, a VM is running here, the data is here, and the replicated data it was stored in this node, but now I remove this, so it is here. So now, when a VM migrates here, his question is, if a VM is migrated here, so his question is, now, will it access this storage or this data, right?
Yes.
And I repeatedly saying the same statement, data local, data follows the VM during migration. So it always prefers the data local. So if VM migrates here, then it always look for the local. If the data is already local, it access the data local. If the data is not local and it is somewhere in the remote server,
Okay,
it
I got it.
access the data for the period of time till the data is started read by remote VM, then the system automatically migrates the data. Okay, so
Okay,
the
got
high
it.
preference goes to data local. But the other scenario, what I'm trying to say, explain here. Okay, so let's take VM is, I said, right, data follows the VM during migration. But I said the data
Breaking. I don't know.
size is huge, maybe, 500 GB, 200 GB. Data cannot be migrated in the short, within a fraction of seconds. That data is in the stage of data
Paul, you are on and off, Paul.
Voice is
Yeah.
breaking.
seeding
Your
process.
voice is
Data
breaking,
is
bro.
getting migrated slowly. That data will be accessible locally.
Oh, Paul,
Yeah, give me a moment. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Paul.
Okay.
If you can start the second one from the beginning, that would be good.
Sorry, kindly start this from the beginning. Data focus during migration.
Because during that time only your voice was having some issue.
Okay, okay. Is it better now? Otherwise, we can start. We can do it
Yeah,
tomorrow.
it's better. It's better now.
Okay, okay, okay. So what I'm telling, so let me make it fresh. See, I have. I'll quickly finish this since we are already late.
Yeah, my question also not answered. I not get. Okay.
What's your question?
You finish in this one.
Okay, okay, sure. Okay, so let's take this is something like 500 GB. I'm migrating a VM now. This VM is migrated here. Migration is quite simple because it is only matter of CPU and memory. So VM immediately migrates here. But data migration is the major thing, right? So it has its own time because data is huge, so it takes its time to migrate the data. So it may take for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, half an hour, depends upon the size of the data and the performance of your server. Let's take if it takes 5 minutes. Okay, so 5 minutes, half 2.5 minute. In the 2.5 minute, we have 200 GB of data is migrated here. So now a VM is there is a read request from this VM. It checks if the data is local. In the 250 GB, if the data is available, it reads the data locally. If not, it goes to the remote server because partial data is here. From here, it reads the data. Okay, but as I said, the first preference goes to data local. It try to keep the data local at maximum. In worst cases, the data may be available in the remote node, so it start reading the data, but quickly it will be migrated to the local. So Nutanix always maintains data local. Do we need to enable this? No, it is automatic. That's how HCA works. So automatically at the back end, it keeps tracking every data, every read, every write. It maintains metadata. There are a lot of services involved behind that. We will be seeing that as per the plan today. I wanted to talk about all the services, but since you have limited exposure on the basic things, so we covered up that. So probably tomorrow I'll talk about few services, how it works in the back end. So which takes care of writing the data, reading the data, replication, cluster configuration, metadata. So we are going to discuss on this area very detailed on tomorrow's session. Okay, so this is something I wanted to talk. I hope Abdul, uh, Abdul or Abu. So I know Abu. Yeah, you asked me this. I hope it's clear now, right?
Yeah, yeah, thanks.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so any question?
Yes, Paul. My name is Abhilash. So, Paul,
Yeah, hi
this
Abhi.
is regarding the witness appliance. Okay. So, this witness appliance will be the combination of AHV and AOS. How it is?
Uh, so I need to talk about the OS here. That is again another important thing. So probably Abhilash, right? Please ask me this
Yes.
question tomorrow. I need to touch base on the CVM OS, AHV. What is the nature of OS? Does it, we said that it's a free hypervisor, but what kind of OS it is? I mean, is it a Linux or, something different?
Okay,
Okay.
Linux.
Yeah. So we'll talk about this, tomorrow. If I
Yeah.
miss,
So, I
please
have one
remind me.
more question.
Hmm.
I'll ask this question tomorrow regarding this migration part. Okay.
Hmm.
So, I'll talk.
No, no. If it is anything related to today's discussion, you ask me, no problem. Anything new, I'll talk. I'll touch base tomorrow.
No, no.
Paul,
It is
my
new.
question is remains same. If we go to that diagram,
Okay.
okay, my ask is what's okay. So VM was residing in the first host, okay, and that's data replicated to middle one,
Hmm.
RF, okay. So I said first you discuss about this node goes down first one,
Hmm.
and that's a automatic HA somehow they migrated to this VM to last one,
Hmm.
okay. So remote data deciding on the middle one. So how the this VM is accessibility is data because of they don't have any remote copy in the last one. but
Oh,
worst
see,
scenario they migrated this host.
yes, we discussed this, right? I said, right?
Can
You can
I
take
can
the
I answer this one?
same example here. So
Yeah.
now a VM is running here, but data is not local. Then it reads the data from the remote server. So I said, right, immediately the system migrates the data to the local. So because it always maintains the data local for few minutes, seconds, it may be a remote write, a remote read, but later, once the data is completely migrated
Mhm.
here, it will be local. You can move the VM from any node to any node. Don't worry about the data. The data will always local. Wherever you move the VM, the data follows the VM. But in case of unplanned
Okay. Yeah,
maintenance,
unplanned. I'm
like
talking
node
about
goes
unplanned.
down, in that cases, for a few seconds, a few minutes, the data read will be through the remote. But immediately, when you start reading the data, the system will come to know that, hey, one person is reading a data.
Mhm.
Why it shouldn't be like that? So let me migrate the data to the VM where it is running. So the migration at the backend triggers. So the data will be moved.
So
Okay.
okay, so will there be any impact the VMs?
In
No, right?
VMware, you have a vMotion dedicated interface for the
Mhm.
vMotion. Likewise, here,
Mhm.
if you want to have the dedicated interface networking, you can configure that. Otherwise, it takes
Mhm.
the default one. Okay.
Okay. Mhm. Got it.
Yeah.
So
One
data
last question,
follows.
Paul.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, Vimal.
Yeah. So I'm considering one example here. Okay. So let's
Mm.
assume that okay in first node, okay, we have a VM. Okay, that is goes down, and along with the VM, okay, along with the VM, it is migrating to the second node.
So you're saying
Mhm.
that this node is going down, right?
It's going down. Yeah, the VM and the data follows, and it is going to be uh, reside on node B.
Node B. Okay.
Okay. So now it need a one more replication, right? Now the node C will be a replication node for me instead of node A because still down, node A is still down.
Hmm. See, if you have more space and more node, maybe you try to replicate one more copy, but that is not something assured. But RF2 is, it is assured. If you lose one, you still have one. But rare scenario, if you have more space in the server, you try to, leverage the space to offer you additional spaces, but it is not assured. So this is something assured, but remaining thing it is actually based on the availability of free space.
Yeah, I got the point, but the thing is that since we are not able to prefer that, okay, which is my replication node, right? So in this scenario, node one is down. So supposed to be someone else to replicate, right? So it has to wait for the node one to come back so that it can replicate their to the partner.
Can you come again, please?
No, when now if now the VM is running on node B, right?
Hmm.
It's but that VM need to be replicated to someone else as per the configuration. It has to be replicated to because since it's yeah, RF2, it need to be
Hmm.
replicated to one more node, right? This VM,
Yeah, you're right.
right? So in this case, my partner is already down. So it has to wait for my partner to come back, my node one, or since it can be run on any, I mean, the replication can be any kind of a node, right? So it can be now it will replicate
No,
to
no, no.
node
It
C.
can be anything. It can be anything. It doesn't necessary to be this node. It can
Oh
be
yeah.
anything.
So okay, in this sense, okay, it won't wait for node A, so it will keep replicating to node C,
Yeah,
right?
other healthy nodes. Other healthy nodes.
Okay, got it. Thanks,
Yeah,
man.
it is not a fixed one. So it doesn't mean that VM owns the data here. The remote copy is here. It is not that it always replicate to here. It shouldn't be like that. So it randomly takes any node. Even if this node goes, then another node will be elected. No, choose to no restore the replication.
Okay, awesome. Thanks, man.
Yeah,
So it is something like that. Best effort or guaranteed something like that, Paul. That
replication. It is guaranteed.
okay. Okay.
Be free space, right? If you're not that free space, then it's a problem.
No, no,
It won't replicate, right?
no, 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 no. You should have that space reserved. So that's something like you have to plan. So in the sizing stage, you have to plan. You know, For an example, when you create a VM, like you have 100 GB data, so you already you need another 100 GB of storage to reserve the replication. There you can do some optimization, like for the remote replicated copy, I wanted to do some optimization to reduce the size. You can do it, but it is always like 50% is for primary and 50% for remote copy. If you don't have storage, so then it doesn't mean that it creates one copy. It does not create a remote copy. It is not that way. System always need, if you enable RF2, system always look for 200% of storage space. So if it doesn't, if it is not available, it does not accept even one copy of data. So it is, if it is 2, it is always 2. Okay.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. So any question? I do have other meetings, so I need to drop off. So let me know
Yeah,
quickly if you have any
yes,
questions.
lots of things covered. Yeah, thank you.
This is a 2 hours training or going forward?
Yeah,
What is
it is 2 hours training. Yeah.
How many weekends? 6 weekends only.
Yeah, right.
So is it fine? We can cover everything.